During his trip to Thailand, the CEO of C Group, named Qing Yi, met and fell in love with a girl named Wu Hui. He wanted to bring her back to the country to get married and have 2 kids. But there was a twist. Wu Hui approached him only to steal his password. However, her love for Qing Yi was real. 7 years later, the Mu family's 2 children, Bao Bei and Xing Xing, complained about being teased at kindergarten because their mom still hadn't found a dad. The kids' mom was the Mu family's granddaughter, named Yun Ji. She was busy on a date, so Bao Bei and Xing Xing stayed with their housekeeper Zhang. The assistant of the Psy Group's CEO, named Chen Gua, came to pick up Miss Mu for her date. Bao Bei and Xing Xing noticed their mom was taking a long time, so they used the GPS on Yun Ji's watch to find her. The person who had a date with Miss Mu was Qing Yi. After 7 years of searching, he finally found the woman he loved. But Yun Ji didn't recognize him and walked away coldly. Qing Yi pulled her into his arms. "Wu Hui, don't you remember me after all these years?" When she denied knowing him, Qing Yi had his men stop her. The 2 kids suddenly showed up looking for their mom, and they also claimed Qing Yi as their dad. He was shocked, thinking she had already gotten married. Yun Ji clarified, "I'm not Wu Hui, and you're not the kid's dad." Qing Yi was still confused and let Yun Ji and the kids go. Chen Gua came to tell Yun Ji that she was the biological granddaughter of the Mu family's boss. All news about her while she was overseas was blocked by Mr. Mu. Qing Yi told his assistant to investigate, and it was likely that the 2 children were his. Early in the morning, Qing Yi went to visit Yun Ji's home. He ignored the fact that she didn't invite him and entered her house without permission, even drinking from her cup. Looking at the pictures of the children, Qing Yi wondered, "Are they my children?" He confessed, "There wasn't a day I didn't think about you, Wu Hui. You suddenly disappeared, and I've been searching for you for 7 years. How could you forget everything about our love?" To confirm her identity, Qing Yi pulled down Yun Ji's shirt. However, she didn't have Wu Hui's butterfly tattoo. Yun Ji wanted to call the police, but Qing Yi hugged her tightly. At that moment, Bao Bei and Xing Xing returned home. They were happy to have a dad. Xing Xing quickly introduced his mom. "My mom is a master's degree holder, graduated from overseas, has a house but no car, and is currently single." Yun Ji showed them her ID to prove that she was not Wu Hui. Still, Qing Yi insisted he wasn't mistaken. Bao Bei advised, "Mom, don't argue. It won't solve anything." Qing Yi announced that he had rented a house right next door to hers. Bao Bei was happy because she would see Uncle Sai every day. Qing Yi secretly took one of her strands of hair and gave it to Chen Gua for a paternity test. When Qing Yi visited Mr. Mu, he inquired about Yun Ji. Mr. Mu said that his granddaughter had been in an accident and lost her memory. Seeing how young and talented the CEO was, Mr. Mu wanted to introduce Yun Ji to him. Coincidentally, Mr. Mu was throwing a family party to welcome his granddaughter back home. He announced that Yun Ji was the sole inheritor of all his assets. He even gave her a house as a gift for his granddaughter's return. His daughter tried to stop him, but Mr. Mu had already decided and only announced it to everyone. After he left, his niece, Yun Ni, sneered, "Yun Ji is unwed but pregnant, and she dares to flaunt her children." Hearing her insulting her children, Yun Ji retaliated. Yun Ni angrily splashed water on Yun Ji, but Qing Yi shielded her in time. He scolded, "You haven't improved at all after 7 years." In front of everyone, the CEO declared that Yun Ji was his. He pulled her away from the squabbling. Just as Chen Gua came to report that the children weren't Qing Yi's, he looked at old video footage of memories and hated Wu Hui for leaving him without a word. He even hated himself for never being able to let go of her. Imagining Wu Hui's image, Qing Yi poured all his affection on his hallucination. "Wu Hui, no matter what, I won't let you leave me again." Early in the morning, the kids saw their mom off to work at her new company. Along the way, the CEO greeted his neighbor. Seeing Yun Ji's rude behavior, Xing Xing apologized to Uncle Si on behalf of his mom. Bao Bei, being kind, prepared a kid's watch for Uncle Si so he could easily contact them. When Yun Ji arrived at her new job at MK Company, she met Qing Yi again. He told her that he was the owner of the company. Yun Ji advised him to stop wasting time with her, because clinging to someone who looks like your ex-girlfriend could easily make you fall for her. Qingyi called Chen Gua to process Yunji's hiring. Hearing her wish for a raise, he promoted her to the position of design director. Yunji was smug and purposely acted cool like the CEO to annoy him. Qingyi suppressed his anger, determined to keep her by his side. Yunji's welcome party was held at a bar, where she mingled with her new colleagues and danced freely. Qingyi attended the party and met eyes with the woman he yearned for night and day. Seeing Yunji suddenly fall, he rushed to catch her. They accidentally kissed, causing everyone to gasp. The CEO was embarrassed, but still pulled Yunji away. Meanwhile, the project manager of C Group, named Gu Qiao, recognized the new employee as Wu Hui. Gu Qiao was Qingyi's longtime friend. 7 years ago, she had witnessed Wu Hui's passionate relationship with Qingyi. Gu Qiao, filled with jealousy, secretly plotted against Wu Hui. Seeing her rival still alive, she continued to reveal Wu Hui's location to a man named Lu Xiao. He was the leader of the Sura organization in Thailand. Back home, Qingyi lingered on Yunji's gaze. The light touch of her lips left him restless. Wu Hui, if you don't want to remember the past, I'm willing to start over with you. While his mom was putting on makeup, the kids praised Uncle C. Jing Xing specifically analyzed why Uncle C was the best marriage prospect, single for 7 years, always working hard, and never forgetting to donate regularly. Bao Bei wondered, does mom like him? Forced to answer, Yunji said she liked Qingyi. However, the kids told him everything. The CEO happily gave Yunji a day off. Hearing her mom loved her job, Shang asked Uncle Sai to pick her up and drop her off at work. When Yunji went to the parking garage, she was surrounded by a group of young men. She quickly disarmed one of them and forced them to reveal who was behind it. It turned out that Yan Ni had hired them to teach Yunji a lesson. Qingyi caught sight of this and intended to be her hero, but Yunji had already chased them away and dragged her home. Qingyi questioned Yunji if she had regained any memories because Wu Hui was very skilled in fighting. Just then, Chen Gua brought Bao Bei and Xing home. Seeing their mom and Uncle C as a cute couple, just like on TV, she argued that they should be together. Qingyi warned Yunji not to be reckless if she was in danger. She asked him to promise to pick her up for work, which would also protect her. He agreed. She said that he should protect her from being scared. Seeing her arguing, Qingyi was speechless. Gu Qiao met with Yunji and asked her to stay away from Qingyi. She told her that she and Qingyi had known each other for many years and understood his personality. She believed they weren't compatible and urged Yunji to be respectful. Hearing Gu Qiao claim to be Qingyi's fiancé, Yunji advised her to discuss it with the CEO because it was their relationship. After work, Yunji took her 2 children to buy a new car. They coincidentally ran into Yan Ni. She mocked their mother, saying that she had spent their grandfather's money after only a few days back home. Her aunt heard that her niece was very poor when she was overseas and told her to ask for help if she needed money. But Yunji immediately asked for the car and told her children to thank her. Yan Ni continued to be sarcastic. Yunji mentioned that she had hired people to attack her. She warned her that if her cousin didn't behave, she would forward the evidence to their grandfather. Yan Ni was furious. Just then, Qingyi arrived. It turned out that Bao Bei had secretly called Uncle C to rescue her mom. He reminded Yan Ni of his previous warning. Seeing Uncle C chase away the bad guys, the children cheered and called him their future dad. Back in the office, Yunji told Bao Bei not to bother Uncle C again. However, Qingyi claimed that he was happy to do so. An employee came in to report that someone who pursued Yunji had given her a limited edition car. Jing Xing guessed that it was one of many people who pursued his mother. Bao Bei advised Uncle C to hurry up because her mother was very popular. Hearing Yunji refuse the car, Qingyi felt relieved. Jing Xing told his mom to accept the car because he bought it with his savings. Seeing Yunji change her attitude and happily accept the car, Qingyi was jealous. She took advantage of the situation and boasted that she not only knew the person who gave her the car, but she also liked him. Qingyi got angry and went home. Bao Bei was happy to have successfully made Uncle C jealous. Back at the company, Qingyi told Chen Gua to investigate who gave Yunji the car. At that moment, his mother, Mo Li, arrived. She complained that she had spent the whole morning trying to find out that Qingyi had taken a woman with children to buy a car. Hearing his mom start crying, the CEO asked her to stop acting. Mrs. Li insisted that her son had to attend a blind date she had arranged. Coincidentally, Bao Bei called to report that her mom was going on a blind date at Mr. Mu's request. Qingyi immediately agreed to his mother's request. Mrs. Li secretly followed her son and coincidentally met Bao Bei and Xing. Hearing the children compliment her on her beauty, she was very happy. It turned out that Qingyi's intention was to directly observe Yunji's blind date. On the other hand, Yunji was dressed up and introduced herself by saying she had been on 800 blind dates and had 2 children to make a bad impression on the person she was meeting. She purposely teased Qingyi, asking the guy opposite her to put on lip balm for her. The CEO, jealous, copied him and put on lip balm for the girl on the blind date. The girl's face shocked him. Bao Bei and Xing ran over and introduced Qingyi as their dad, sending away 1 blind date. The CEO took his children to solve the rest of the problem. He then claimed Yunji as his wife and dragged her home. Yunji forced the children to apologize to him. But Bao Bei just wanted Uncle C to be their dad. Qingyi told the kids to go downstairs and play games. Yunji questioned the CEO's morals, saying that he had a fiancée but still missed his ex-girlfriend, and now he was on a blind date. Hearing Qingyi's confusion, Yunji said that Gu Qiao had personally told her she was his fiancée. Qingyi tried to explain, but Yunji didn't really care. She asked him to watch the children while she went to the bar to discuss the Jingtu Yuan design project. The CEO happily agreed, but only if she took off her wig. At the 21 Degrees bar, Yu Qiao introduced Yunji to Manager Liu, the project manager for Jingtu Yuan. She excused herself to use the restroom, asking Yunji to entertain Manager Liu well. Meanwhile, Qingyi was fully engaged in playing with the children, but he didn't know how to cook and they were very hungry. Seeing that Yunji wasn't responding to his messages or calls, Qingyi asked Chenghua to watch the children while he went to find their mother. Meanwhile, Yunji discovered something wrong with the drink and tried to escape. Qingyi arrived just in time, and she immediately fell into his arms. The stimulant made Yunji unable to resist the CEO's charm. He asked her if she knew who he was. Hearing Yunji call his name, Qingyi immediately carried her to the room. He knew she had been drugged, but all the love he felt for her was boiling over with her alluring charm. He reminded her that his name was Si Qingyi, and that once she was in his bed, she would never escape. Seeing Yunji still clinging to him, Qingyi couldn't help but embrace her. Early in the morning, Qingyi was startled awake by a cat. Seeing Yunji dressed neatly, he suspected she was planning to leave after tidying up, as if nothing had happened. Yunji thought that, as a grown man, he wouldn't care about the little mistake they made last night. Hearing her offer to pay him for his services, Qingyi angrily criticized her skills as mediocre. He intended to sleep more, but the children were about to come back. Qingyi had to wrap himself in a blanket and put on his clothes, waiting for Yunji to come down. Bao Bei encouraged her mom to take Uncle Sai back home. However, Yunji had to let Qingyi be their father, so Bao Bei decided to give her mom 9 yuan to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to register their marriage with Uncle C. Seeing her children's fondness for Qingyi, Yunji agreed to observe his behavior. At work, the CEO specifically wore a pink shirt and couldn't stop smiling. When he saw his assistant, he immediately switched back to his cold demeanor. Hearing Chenghua report that Yunji had arrived for work, the CEO wanted to go down to the design department to find her himself. Yunji confronted Gu Qiao about secretly putting drugs in the drink. Gu Qiao denied everything and proudly announced that this was her territory. Yunji splashed water on Gu Qiao's face as a lesson. Qingyi arrived and demanded that Gu Qiao apologize to Yunji. Gu Qiao blamed him for not being fair to a newcomer. Not wanting to hear them argue, Yunji asked the CEO to handle his personal matters and not affect her. Qingyi agreed and didn't pursue the incident from the previous night. However, their friendship was over. If she dared to hurt Yunji again, he would absolutely not be lenient. He didn't want to hear any gossip about their relationship. After work, Yunji took her children to the amusement park. A bear with a gift box walked up to them. Yunji drew a prize and admired the bear's real face. He congratulated her on winning a stuffed animal with a surveillance camera. Looking at the suspicious expression on the bear's face, Yunji returned the prize and took her children away. At C Group, Chenghua finally found out that the password of the group from many years ago was stolen by an organization named Sura. Their leader was currently in the country. Back home, the CEO brought gifts to visit the children next door. Yun Ji thanked him for saving her at the bar. Looking at how Qing Yi treated the children, Yun Ji believed that he would be a good dad. She admitted that at first, she thought he was very annoying, but now she found him to be a decent neighbor. She raised her glass, erasing all the unpleasant things that happened between them. In the romantic atmosphere, Yun Ji couldn't help but drink a bit too much. Qing Yi stopped her and used his kiss to replace the strong wine. The children caught their mother being affectionate with Uncle C and shouted out loud. Yun Ji quickly clarified to her children, leaving the CEO to smile foolishly alone. Meanwhile, Gu Chao met with the leader of Sura, Lu Xiao. He blamed her for not getting Qing Yi after 7 years. Gu Chao boasted about stealing the password years ago, which helped Lu Xiao seize tens of millions of yuan from C Group. It turned out that 7 years ago, Wu Hui had only given Lu Xiao a fake password. Then, Gu Chao handed over the real password. She didn't care about C Group, only that Qing Yi belonged to her. Gu Chao reminded him that if Lu Xiao had a crush on Wu Hui, he shouldn't let her stay with Qing Yi. They would work together to put everything back in its place. Qing Yi was happy and lost himself in the dance because his love was flourishing. But Yun Ji was standing outside the door, screaming his name. She asked the CEO to keep quiet so she could catch up on sleep because she had to go to the pier later. In the evening, Yun Ji went to meet with Yan Nai. She blamed her cousin for returning home and taking over all the Mu family's assets. Yan Ni called 2 thugs to throw Yun Ji into the sea as bait for fish. Meanwhile, Qing Yi couldn't find Yun Ji. He remembered she said she was going to the pier. He worried that she was in danger because Wu Hui was afraid of water. Before falling into the sea, Yun Ji asked the handsome man to hold her bag for her. She approached Yan Ni, pulling at her fake bangs. Yan Ni had a phobia of baldness, so she didn't pay attention to harming anyone. When Qing Yi met Yun Ji, he questioned her why she went to the pier, even though she was afraid of water. Yun Ji was angry that he still considered her to be Wu Hui. Wing Yi thought that Yun Ji had amnesia, so she had forgotten she was Wu Hui. She insisted that she was the Mu family's granddaughter named Yun Ji, and she didn't want to see him or hear the name Wu Hui again. From afar, Gu Qiao heard everything. She was furious that Qing Yi still lingered on Wu Hui. It turned out that years ago, Gu Qiao had secretly arranged for Lu Xiao to cause an accident to harm Wu Hui. The next day, Gu Qiao asked Yun Ji to revise the entire design plan. Yun Ji thought that Gu Qiao was wasting her energy, but since she couldn't get Qing Yi, she was using work as an excuse to make things difficult for her. Gu Qiao advised Yun Ji not to be arrogant, because she was just a knockoff of Qing Yi. Yun Ji laughed sarcastically, saying that Gu Qiao wasn't even as good as a knockoff. After work, Yun Ji encountered heavy rain. Lu Xiao appeared unexpectedly. She recognized him as the bear from the amusement park. Lu Xiao apologized for his rudeness that day, explaining that his game company had held an experience event. He gave Yun Ji an umbrella to shield her from the rain. After 7 years, he finally got to see the smile he secretly loved every day. Yun Ji looked into Qing Yi's house on her way to and from work, but she couldn't find him. It turned out that Qing Yi had returned to Thailand to understand his heart better. Although he knew Yun Ji might not be Wu Hui, he couldn't help but think of her. He called the children to check on them. Bao Bei reminded Uncle C to come back soon, or his mother would be taken away by someone else. At the restaurant, Chen Gua reported that they had not yet found the leader of the Sura organization. Just then, Qing Yi received a call from Bao Bei. Hearing her say that her mom was getting thin because she missed Uncle C, Qing Yi told his assistant to cancel his meeting with his business partner and book the earliest flight back home. As soon as he got off the plane, the CEO went to find Yun Ji, but no one answered the door. Bao Bei and Xing Xing sneaked out and said that their mom was mad at Uncle C for leaving without a word, so she wouldn't let Qing Yi into the house. Just then, Chen Gua received news that the Sura organization was in Jiang City. With the help of the children, Qing Yi sneaked into Yun Ji's room to annoy her. She showed off the umbrella given to her by a handsome guy. That guy also gave her the car. He was more educated and handsome than the CEO. Qing Yi was furious and went back home. The next day, Qing Yi's mother unexpectedly went to Yun Ji's house. She happened to meet the children playing in the garden. Jing Xing said straightforwardly, "Even if you're beautiful and spend 5 million, I won't let Uncle Sai leave my mom, because a good father is more valuable than money." Mrs. Li revealed that she had been following Yun Ji and her children for a while, but their mother didn't seem to like Qing Yi very much. Instead of separating him and letting her son be single for life, she wanted to help them find their way to each other. Seeing the boss troubled by love, Chen Guo wondered if the CEO liked Yun Ji because she resembled Wu Hui. Qing Yi denied it, saying that he was truly moved by Yun Ji's true self. Just then, Mrs. Lai came to visit her son. She brought pictures of Qing Qing and Xing Qing when they were young. Coincidentally, the uncle and the kids looked exactly alike. She felt that the children were her grandchildren, and that she would support Qing Yi's relationship with Yun Ji. Hearing her son sigh, she urged him, "Act now, or when you're 80 years old, I still won't be able to give you a few houses in Beijing and Shanghai." She told her son to spend some time talking to her seriously in the evening. Waiting for Yun Ji to finish work, Qing Yi went to apologize to her. He admitted that he shouldn't have kept questioning Yun Ji again and again. Thinking that the conflict was resolved, the CEO forced Yun Ji to leave work with him. In the car, Qing Yi shared that he knew Yun Ji wasn't Wu Hui, and he didn't hope she was Wu Hui. He thought he was jealous of the guy who gave Yun Ji the car and the umbrella. Qing Yi suddenly accelerated to take her to buy a new car. Seeing a luxury car crossing the road, he quickly stepped on the brakes, but they didn't work. Luckily, they only suffered minor injuries. Qing Yi guessed that someone had tampered with the brakes. For safety, he told Yun Ji not to leave his sight. "Mu Yun Ji, I like you. I like who you are, not because you resemble anyone else. I also love the kids as my own." Facing this hesitant but sincere confession, Yun Ji replied with a sweet kiss. Waiting for her son to come home, Mrs. Li worried about Qing Yi's injury. He quickly reassured his mother because Yun Ji was standing right behind him. Mrs. Li changed her attitude, saying that a man getting hurt protecting his girlfriend was the right thing to do. However, she asked what stage their relationship was at. Yun Ji just said that she and Qing Yi were still getting to know each other. Just then, the children came over to play with her, in front of their surprised parents. Taking advantage of the fact that everyone was there, Qing Yi affirmed that he was very serious about Yun Ji. Mrs. Li, knowing what she had to do, took the children shopping. With only the two of them left, the newly dating couple was too shy to say anything, when Chen Guo suddenly came in and reported that the surveillance cameras in the parking lot were erased. The CEO subtly reminded his assistant that next time, he could just tell him on the phone first if there was anything, because he messed up the boss's moment. Chen Guo quickly apologized. Seeing Qing Yi's passionate gaze, Yun Ji sent him a flying kiss. She asked for permission to go home to prepare dinner for the kids. The CEO sat alone on the sofa, smiling happily. Happily, Gu Qiao went to the bar. Qing Yi gave her a chance to transfer to a branch overseas. He knew Gu Qiao had tampered with Yun Ji's brakes. She claimed that she only wanted to teach Yun Ji a lesson to make her stay away from Qing Yi. He told Gu Qiao to leave his sight immediately. At the mall, Mrs. Li bought a set of 5 gemstones for her future daughter-in-law. Feeling that wasn't enough, she wanted to bring the whole store back for Yun Ji. When Gu Qiao met with Lu Xiao, she reported that she had sent all of C Group's data to him. Lu Xiao stepped closer and warned her to stay away from the person he loved. If anything happened to Yun Ji, Gu Qiao would be the one to face his wrath. After work, the CEO pretended to be sick to ask his girlfriend to take care of him. Seeing Yun Ji, he complained that his body was weak and his heart was aching. To cure his illness, he wanted the same medicine as the night she got drunk. Yun Ji asked the CEO to stop acting. Qing Yi insisted that he was serious about her, and they had already met their parents and had children. He wanted to marry Yun Ji soon. She thought that haste makes waste, and that the CEO needed to work harder. On a business trip to Beijing, Yun Ji met Lu Xiao again. He asked her to have dinner with him as a favor. Meanwhile, Xing Xing felt sorry for the CEO's handsome face, which hadn't been able to win over his mother yet. To help Uncle C, Bao Bei listed everything her mother liked and disliked. Qing Yi took this opportunity to ask about the man who gave Yun Ji the car. Xing Xing revealed that he knew how to program and made money, so he bought a car for his mom. Bao Bei guessed that her brother inherited his biological father's talent, but even if he showed up, she would still support Uncle C. Because Bao Bei thought that her biological father was a bad person, so she didn't go looking for her mom. The children all hoped that Uncle C would marry their mother soon, and urged Qing Yi to go to Beijing, because their mom really needed a man by her side. Meanwhile, Lu Xiao expressed his interest in pursuing Yun Ji. She refused, because Qing Yi was in her heart. Yun Ji confessed that at first, she just found him very annoying. But after spending time together, she realized Qing Yi was very sincere and very responsible. Just as Qing Yi called Yun Ji, hearing her say she was on a date, he decided to find his girlfriend no matter what. Unexpectedly, Yun Ji was right in front of him. Qing Yi met Lu Xiao, who introduced himself as Yun Ji's suitor. Qing Yi greeted his love rival, confident that he had a better chance than Lu Xiao. He took Yun Ji's hand and pulled her away, taking her to the water palace. The CEO seriously expressed his feelings. Yun Ji, my phone password and bank card passwords are all your birthday. Besides C Group, one also have more than a dozen venture capital companies. We already have Baobei and Xing Xing, so after we get married, it's up to you to decide if we want more kids. Marry me, Yun Ji, Qing Ye. I agree. They happily exchanged a sweet kiss. Meanwhile, Mrs. Lai was proud that she finally had someone to inherit her collection of gems. She also gained 2 lovely grandchildren, a boy and a girl. Hearing that Yun Ji was going to marry Qing Ye, Lu Xiao was furious and decided not to let them have their way. At the wedding ceremony, the 2 families started a dowry competition. Mrs. Li boasted that she would bring the building in the city center as a gift. Mr. Mu decided to use the land he just bought as Yun Ji's dowry. Although the children liked Mrs. Li very much, they were blind to Mr. Mu. In the end, for the happiness of their children, they put aside their pride and became allies. Secretly meeting the bride, the CEO asked his wife to open the door so he could see her before anyone else. Just then, Chen Gua called the CEO to rehearse his lines with the priest. Yun Ji, resplendent in her wedding dress, walked towards the altar. Qing Yi happily looked at his bride. Lu Xiao unexpectedly appeared. Ignoring Qing Yi's attempt to stop him, he walked towards Yun Ji, leaning close to her ear. Lu Xiao revealed that Xing Xing was in his hands. Yun Ji suddenly remembered the image of Lu Xiao from the past. Qing Yi rushed to Yun Ji, but she only left him with 3 words. Wait for me. And chased after Lu Xiao. He was heartbroken because after 7 years, she still left him. Chen Gua reported that they couldn't find Xing Xing. Qing Yi rushed around, looking for the boy. When Yun Ji arrived, Lu Xiao forced her to defeat the thugs in front of him. Yun Ji was pressured, so she revealed her fighting skills. Lu Xiao said that he taught her all her moves. Lu Xiao pushed Yun Ji, causing her to hit her head on the iron. In a flash, all of Wu Hui's memories came back to her. Yun Ji was stunned and fainted. Meanwhile, Qing Yi went home to look for Yun Ji and her children. Luckily, Xing Xing had been returned safely. Yun Ji woke up and panicked to find her son. Lu Xiao said he had taken the boy home. He blamed himself for letting her approach Qing Yi 7 years ago. If she had recovered her memories, she should go back to Thailand with him. Yun Ji insisted that everything in the past was over. Currently, she was only Yun Ji. Lu Xiao revealed that he would soon deal with Qing Ye, and then he would take her to a place full of sunshine. Hearing Yun Ji wanting to protect Qing Yi, Lu Xiao reminded her that he was just a mission. She approached Qing Yi to steal C Group's password, but she fell in love with him and used a fake password to deceive Lu Xiao in exchange for her freedom. After remembering everything, Yun Ji confirmed that the person she loved from beginning to end was only Qing Yi. Lu Xiao went crazy, begging her to stay with him. Seeing that Yun Ji was still obsessed, Lu Xiao declared, "You can only obey me." Lu Xiao, you never understood what love is. 7 years ago, we never started a relationship. Now, my name is Yun Ji. Back home, Yun Ji apologized to Qing Yi for ruining the wedding. Qing Yi, you are Wu Hui. Before, I asked you who the children belong to. You adopted Baobei overseas, and Xing Xing is your biological son. You were kidnapped in Thailand that year. To repay Lu Xiao for saving your life, you followed his orders, took the name Wu Hui to approach me and stole C Group's password. You were originally going to abandon the plan because you had fallen for me, but Lu Xiao wanted to harm me, so you had to use a fake password to deal with him. On their way back to explain to the children, they unexpectedly got into a car accident. Yun Ji's confession left Qing Yi's heart in turmoil. He needed time to calm down. Back home, Qing Yi recalled happy moments with Wu Hui, but she said it was all fake. Wu Hui, 7 years ago I loved you. 7 years later, you are Yun Ji, and I love you again. You've been deceiving me over and over again. Are we destined to be strangers who pass each other by? Meanwhile, the children came over to their mother. Jing Xing knew that Uncle C was really his biological father. At the company, Chen Guo reported that the Sura organization was continuously spreading rumors about C Group. Just then, Qing Yi found out that a lot of foreign accounts were illegally trading C Group stocks. He guessed that the person behind it wanted the Banking Regulatory Commission to investigate, freezing C Group's accounts. The CEO asked Chen Guo to secretly investigate Gu Chao. Waiting for Qing Yi to return home, Mrs. Li advised her son to make up with Yun Ji. She pretended that Yun Ji was sick, and Qing Yi became very anxious. She reminded her son about Qing Xing's birthday. Thinking that Qing Yi wouldn't come, Yun Ji tried to coax the children, but they still wanted to wait for their dad. In the end, Qing Yi didn't disappoint them. Bao Bei hoped that their parents would reconcile and get married soon. And Qing Xing's birthday wish was for his parents to grow old together. Bao Bei directly asked, "Does Dad still love Mom?" Qing Yi said that even if Mom and Dad don't live together, we'll always be a family. Jing Qing wondered why Dad wanted to be with Mom, but insisted on breaking up. Bao Bei advised her dad to listen to his own heart. Qing Yi changed the subject and celebrated their birthday together. Meeting with Qing Yi privately, Yun Ji thanked him for coming to the birthday party. Qing Yi said he would move out in 2 days. Yun Ji hoped that he wouldn't lose faith in love because of her mistakes. She hoped he would be happy. Seeing her turn to leave, Qing Yi suddenly cried. He silently asked, "Yun Ji, is pride really that important? In the end, you never thought about keeping me." Meanwhile, Lu Xiao heard that Qing Yi hadn't fallen for his trap and had teamed up with the police to track down the Sura organization's smuggling ring before fleeing the country. He wanted to bring his bride home. Going down to the parking garage, Yun Ji prepared to pick up the children from their grandfather's house. Lu Xiao suddenly appeared and used a drug to make her faint. Meanwhile, Chen Guo found out that Gu Chao was the one who stole the password and caused Yunji's accident. Knowing that Qing Yi had called the police to arrest her, Gu Chao called him one last time, but to no avail. Seeing the boss waiting for the phone call every day, Chen Guo urged the CEO, "If you want to, go to Yun Ji." Qing Yi told Chen Guo to try calling her. Seeing that Chen Guo couldn't get through, the CEO called Yun Ji but no one answered. He asked his mother, and she said the children were with her, but she hadn't seen Yun Ji come to pick them up. Qing Yi suddenly became anxious and rushed to find her. Yun Ji woke up and found herself in a church with Lu Xiao. He said that he was still learning how to love Yun Ji. She said frankly, "I didn't know what love was before meeting Qing Yi. Betraying him made my heart numb. I'm grateful for the accident, which made me forget the painful memories and allowed me to start over with Qing Yi." Lu Xiao questioned why the person she forgot was him. Yun Ji affirmed that Lu Xiao would never be able to give her what Qing Yi did. All his actions were just to satisfy his twisted desire for possession. Lu Xiao still stubbornly insisted on marrying Yun Ji. He went crazy and covered her with the veil, even reading his vows, ignoring Yun Ji's refusal. Lu Xiao tried to force her. The CEO unexpectedly arrived by helicopter to rescue Yun Ji. He spoke through the microphone. "My wife, I'm here to take you home." Yun Ji threw everything aside and ran to Qing Yi. Lu Xiao was stunned, watching her betray him again. He was determined not to let Qing Yi steal his woman. Qing Yi did his best to run towards Yun Ji, but he was slower than Lu Xiao's bullet. Hugging Yun Ji tightly, he begged her not to leave him. "Qing Yi, I'm sorry for deceiving you in the beginning, but every word and action I have taken toward you has never been fake. Yun Ji, don't leave me. Whether you are Wu Hui or Yun Ji, I won't blame you. If you dare to leave, I will not forgive you." The police arrived and arrested Lu Xiao. The ambulance arrived in time and took Yun Ji away. 3 months later, Qing Yi was sad when Yun Ji was still in a coma. The children suddenly called their dad to see their mom waking up. In a moment, Qing Yi was overwhelmed with emotion and couldn't speak. He rushed over, hugged the one he loved, and gently stroked Yun Ji's hair. He thanked her for not leaving him. The children came over to their parents. Finally, they had a complete family. On the green lawn, Qing Yi's family happily played. The love story, although it began with a lie, ended happily. The CEO finally found his wife and also gained 2 lovely children. This is where the story ends. Don't forget to like and subscribe to not miss out on more amazing videos. For now, goodbye, and until next time.